There are few people I would ever categorize as true sociopaths, the kind of person who looks at human suffering and feels absolutely nothing. No guilt, no empathy, not even a flicker of remorse. But Isabella Loretta Janke, she's like a body with no soul. Everything discussed here is based on publicly available information and my own personal opinions. I generally don't include content warnings, but we will be covering some rather unsavory topics. If you have a hard time listening to discussions of animal mistreatment or exploitation of a sexual nature, please protect your mental health and check out some of my more lighthearted videos. Now, let's get into how one phone call completely unraveled and showed the true character of Isabella Janke. To understand Isabella, you unfortunately have to understand her proximity to one of the internet's most documented and infamous weirdos, Christine Weston Chandler, more widely known as Chrischan. Chrischan has been the subject of online ridicule, obsession, and detailed documentary content for well over a decade. If you are unfamiliar, I highly recommend the Gino Samuel documentary series, linked in the description. It does a great job creating a clear timeline of memorable events in Christory. Isabella first entered Chrischan's life under the guise of a helpful fan. She posed as a friendly supporter, creating animations like this Sonichu transformation sequence that painted her as just another fan of Chris. Yeah, I'm gonna get it right this time. However, this animation wasn't made in good faith. It was a strategic move to gain trust and eventually to troll Chris. In July of 2020, a phone call was leaked. Gone were the days of liquid Chris and quickfill lore. This chapter marked a much darker reality of unchecked mental decline and delusion. I will censor some of the more vulnerable details from this audio, but I want you to focus on Isabella's tone and demeanor.
God said this is okay? Yeah, then you don't really have anything to worry about if God himself said this is fine. But how did this happen? How did this come about?
Well, long which just mainly I was really, really horny and I need the true and honest relationship to come about. So obviously this was one of the best ways to do it, despite it being with the... And I don't want to believe in labels at all, but
right.
Obviously fanfics have come true and shit.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I didn't even know there was fanfics. Were there about you and Barbara? I can't believe that. I didn't even think that... I knew that you guys had a good relationship, but I always thought, because I'm not huge on Christory and, whatever, I just thought that the whole Sonichu franchise was very interesting, and that's how I got into you when I was younger, right? But I didn't have any idea that Barbara was, that Barbara and you had that sort of relationship. I never got any of those vibes. But how did you approach her?
Approached her with care and caution.
Mm-hmm.
It was a time approach. So I just gave her comfort and talked with her, and we just branched out slow and steady, and then I encouraged her positively, let her make the first move. She wanted to do it.
She did? Really? She made the first move?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, Barbara. How did she do it, if you don't mind me asking? What was the first move?
I don't remember exactly. I forgot exactly what terminology and approach I used, but I approached with care and caution.
That's good.
And I was direct and upfront with her for the most part.
That's good. And how did she respond when you approached her? What did she say?
I don't remember exactly what she said, but I think she was partially confused at one point, but then she came around, obviously, with more approaching than I was doing with her along the way.
So she got into it. How was the first kiss? You kissed her? How did that feel? Having known this woman for your whole life, how did that feel?
Oh yeah, it was simple lip to lip kiss contact, but yeah, it was actually good and it felt right.
When did you start having feelings for Barbara?
Obviously, for a long time. I remember even mentioning some time ago in one of my videos that I even had dreams where I had sex with her, obviously.
Really?
So,
yeah. How, if you don't mind me asking, I know it's probably personal, you have to answer, but how is the sex?
I'd say it was satisfactory. It took a while. It took a few tries to...
It took a few tries, yeah. She's older.
And plus, also, she's very understanding about the whole thing as well. I was direct with her, still direct and honest with her. I made sure that obviously, I'm never going to propose marriage to her at all because we're already daughter and mom.
Yeah, mother and daughter. You know, they say there's no stronger bond than a mother and her daughter. That's true. Sorry?
We've been doing it every third night, and the first night being on June 27th.
Oh, you have a routine. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have a stable relationship, because you know it's not going to end. Like, if anything happened, you'd still be mother and daughter. It's not going to like be explosive breakup, right? At least that's comforting.
So in this call, Chris admits with little provocation that he had entered into a sexual relationship with their cognitively declining mother, Barbara. Oh, that feels disgusting to even say out loud, but during this time, Barbara seemed to be barely lucid, beyond the capacity to give consent for any type of sexual encounters. And how does Isabella respond to this information? With horror? With urgency? Shock? Disgust? No, she describes the relationship as comforting. She literally says, "That's good." How do you hear something that vile and respond like someone just told you that they got a new cat? It's unfathomable. After this leak went public, Isabella gave 2 interviews. In these interviews, she tries to play it off like she was acting as some sort of rogue detective trying to investigate.
There's a way to communicate with him, to get him to open up more, to show them understanding. Regardless, I was never going to do that, and I was trying to put this guy... from the get-go, when he said that, I was trying to think of a way to start leaking it in a way that I wouldn't get caught, in a way that he would get arrested and Barb would go in the hospital, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
I never said, "Hey, go fuck your mom.
Let me...
I really want to see that because I'm into it." No, that's ridiculous. No way. But you're saying that I was encouraging him to continue this? Clearly, what I'm telling Chris
it sounds like it, obvious, and
what do you mean? So what I'm telling Chris has nothing to do with I'm actually interested. It's like he's clearly into me, and I'm trying to get this guy to confess. Like, I'm trying to get him to tell me as much as possible what he's doing with his mom. Do you think that somehow, because I'm trying to get him to carry on the conversation and tell me more about what he's doing to his mom, means that I'm interested in it? I don't understand. I'm not thinking that he's actually going to his mom and we're going to go to the convention together. That's all thrown out the window because of what he's telling me. I'm planning to put him in jail. I'm trying to get as much possible information from him.
Okay.
I don't understand what's hard to believe about that. I don't understand.
I'm not saying it's hard to believe.
You are saying that's hard to believe.
I'm just saying that specifically the part where you encourage him to have a lot of fun before the convention is just...
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to talk. What do you mean? Do you think that's actual genuine? That's me genuinely saying, I really hope you do this.
With the kind of people,
that tells you that I'm interested. For fuck's sake, dude.
With the kind of people who have associated with Chris in the past, anything is possible.
Let me be clear. She is not an authoritative figure. She's not a detective. She's not a licensed social worker. She's a college student with a laptop and a god complex. All that time she spent investigating instead of alerting the proper authorities may have allowed more harm to occur. Chris even admitted that these acts happen every 3 days. So every minute that Isabella didn't report these crimes was time that Barbara may have been subjected to more unspeakable cruelty. Isabella, inevitably did share the phone call, but not with police. Instead, she flaunted it to her private Discord server called the Chess Club. Through various aliases and backup accounts, she hyped up this information, watching it spread like wildfire, while she stayed just out of the spotlight. However, instead of earning the title of the best troll in internet history, her alternate accounts and subsequently disturbing digital footprint was revealed. The Chess Club server all began to turn on one another as personal information was doxed. Each individual in turn pinned the blame on one another until all trails led back to Isabella. Once her true identity was revealed, people began to connect the dots between accounts that painted a horrifying picture of a deeply disturbed individual. Isabella's digital footprint highlighted a long history of disgusting behavior. Let's take a tour through some of the content that was uncovered. In this clip, she engages in bizarre reenactments of torture with her roommates. He's not. Hold it.
TJ has a certain
Sit
image
on
of
your
me.
hands. Sit on your hands. Sit on your hands. Hurry.
It's because TJ has a certain like.
What the fuck is this? This is bullshit. Doesn't even come out. Wait, no. Put it back on.
TJ's watching me, isn't he?
He's not watching you.
Oh, he's not.
He's not.
TJ, I appreciate that. Even though you.
Unscrew it.
I am. There we go.
No.
Oh my god, it was one of those.
You just hurt me.
Even though her peer seems to be a willing participant, this pattern of having control over others is disturbing. Now, in this one, she has a soldering iron, which I believe is used for minor welding.
Yes. See, the skin's popping from the heat.
Oh my god, Bella.
You can kind of see it. Dude, you can kind of see it. That's great. Look. You can kind of see it. And it popped. It looks like... Oh, wow. Did you see this way my skin popped? My skin popped in the heat.
She's laughing and seemingly fascinated with the way her skin reacts. It's as if she feeds on any negative attention for her erratic behavior. Now, this could be labeled simply as horseplay, but when the other girl in this video holds up her hands, Isabella continues to approach her. It's like she continuously has this habit for crossing people's boundaries. And of course, these examples can all be seen as attention-seeking or edgy humor. But at what point do we draw the line between cringe and actual harm? Well, her discussions of animals, children, and explicit content push far beyond the boundary of internet shit talk. I can't even show this full image. Isabella created a piece of media, I refuse to call it art, depicting a well-known character performing lewd acts on an individual who cannot give consent. I really hope I don't see any of those "it's just a drawing" comments, because this shit is disgusting, it's inexcusable. This particular character is known as PDF Bear and has a well-known theme of being a representation of the most degenerate rung of society. Isabella frequently conversed in her chess Discord server about disgraceful acts. I can't say the precise words, but her references to enacting harm and control over unwilling victims is a reoccurring theme in her daily conversations. It's concerning how casually and frequently she jokes about this subject matter. These messages were sent by a alt account. Pretty much anything that you see that is scribbled out in red is something that I cannot show. This one says, "I am a child blank in a female body." I'm sure you can use your imagination to understand what she meant there. This one says, point blank, "A child blank and wants to blank kids. I wish I got blank by her. Joseph blank women." There's so, like, I've never seen anyone use this word so casually, so frequently. Like, this, to me, this word is only used in like a context of like some type of court procedures, or maybe in therapy when discussing something terrible and traumatic that happens to people. But she also alludes to blank R, the R. I can't even say it, but after I blank both of them, I throw them into my post-blank closet. So what traumatized you was me shitting and blanking your mom. I'm not going to touch a dick again ever unless it's a blank femboy, a catboy, an amputee, or a gay guy that I am blanking. Ooh, oh god. We'll bring my blank squad after I blanked him. Already blank. You're just projecting. You trying to get blanked, bruh. Now, in this conversation, Isabella allegedly collected or traded illegal material. I must reiterate that this has not been proven as fact, and this is all alleged. However, it's worth noting that she has repeatedly and frequently put herself in the worst company while gloating about her actions, and it goes beyond edgy humor. It's morally reprehensible and degeneracy at its worst. Any of these examples alone is enough to persuade me that Isabella is vile. However, when seen as a collective, I legitimately think that this woman finds sick pleasure in the pain and torments of others. This section, this part, it broke me. It was very hard to research this. I implore you to protect your mental health if you are sensitive to topics about animals being put into distressing or painful situations. This is one of the most heartbreaking subjects I've covered to date, and I'm gonna spare you from having to view the image. It's pretty graphic and gut-wrenching. The photo shows what appears to be a hamster in a pot. Isabella allegedly photographed the torture of a defenseless creature and then later consumed its remains. She also references that there have been multiple animals that she has disposed of in a variety of gruesome ways. I can't imagine how a human being could be capable of doing those things to an animal. More substantial evidence of Isabella's cruelty is featured when a hamster was found in the trash on Texas Tech's campus.
Dumpsters are normally full of used water bottles, trash, old food. You know the drill, right? But on the Tech campus, one man sorting through to get the recycling found something that definitely should not have been there. KMS Kelsey Pittman joins us now to tell us more.
As Calvin Anderson was sorting through the recycling, he opened up a bag to go through like he normally does, but something gave him a big surprise. Monday morning was like any normal day for Calvin Anderson at the Texas Tech Recycling Center.
Recycling trash, I open the bags up and I go through them to make sure everything's okay.
Finding this cage tied up in a bag.
Took the cage out of the bag and jumped up and scared me a little.
That scary creature, this little guy, a hamster.
People shouldn't do that to animals, I don't care what they are.
Leaving him for days with no food or water.
The bottle was frozen, and to me that tells me it's been there more than 2 days.
Isabella was a student during the time when a recycling worker discovered a hamster discarded in the winter. Thankfully, this hamster, who was named Calvin after his rescue, was given a second chance at a stable and loving forever family. And although Calvin's story has a happy ending, there are probably countless others who may have gone unnoticed, forgotten, and left to perish, their last moments being filled with immeasurable pain. Isabella's roommates at Texas Tech also discussed a dog named Max. Isabella allegedly left this dog in a closet for an extended period of time, eventually leading to Max no longer being with us today. The sheer amount of neglect it takes to end an animal is beyond my comprehension. Max and all of the other animals she was able to get her hands on deserve so much better. This is the conversation between two of Isabella's, I guess, campus mates that knew her, that knew that she had the dog. Griff, that dog is gone now, isn't it? We tried to take it to a shelter, but they wouldn't accept it. I couldn't take it in because of campus rules. I had zero idea. I knew he had a bad leg, but after Bella took him, never heard what happened until she told me months later we didn't steal him from a shelter and blank him. Christ. Griff, that dog was living in her closet, from neglect. After this massive exposure, Isabella seemingly has disappeared from the internet. Maybe she changed her name and leads a quiet life offline. Some speculate that her Fed parents may have managed to scrub her identity from the internet, giving her a second chance of redemption. I would hope that she reflected on the damage she caused, but let's be real here. She probably just learned to be more covert in her degenerate virtual communities. Multiple lives were negatively impacted and ruined during this saga. I implore everyone watching that when it comes to acts of harm against elders, animals, children, or anyone for that matter, if you see something, say something. You could be the person who ends a line of pain and suffering. Until next time, remember to stay safe online and stay lovely.